This country seemed to know the future. 1839 is the accepted birth of photography. It started with the daguerreotype, named after French artist Louis Daguerre. That photographic process was long and complex, but the world commercially adopted it for nearly 20 years until the collodion process was invented, and basically these two processes were adjusted and refined until 1844 when a New Yorker by the name of George Eastman founded the Eastman Kodak Company. His process of photography is what was in use for nearly the next 100 years. What was his process? It was using film instead of glass plates and a bunch of toxic chemicals that the previous innovations were. This made photography take off worldwide and made Mr. Eastman a few $1 million. So, if we fast forward a bit, black and white photography then develops into color photography, and then when we get to the 1950s, we receive the blueprint for digital photography as we know it today. Russell Kirsch, an American engineer and computer scientist, worked on the development of digital imagery. By 1957, it was complete. The first digital image ever taken was of his son, Walden. Groundbreaking? Yes, indeed this was, as the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, would adopt this technology for their future Apollo missions. British inventor and physicist Michael Francis Thomson then brought us color photography in 1972. In the same year, Indian electrical engineer and computer scientist Nazir Ahmed brought the world digital image compression technology, which is what's used in a JPEG, the most common digital file format. And then, in the next decade, a corporate powerhouse from this mystery country developed the first digital camera for consumers in 1981. Photography has received several contributions from many dedicated individuals that has solidified its place in the modern world. To keep this video from boring you, hope it's not too late, we've omitted the work of lots of these talented folks, but we encourage you to read more about photography online. Japan. You must now be saying to yourself, I knew it was them! Because if any single country were to give the world future technology prophecies, Japan would be one of the ones at the top of the list. And I must say, especially when it comes to photography, companies such as Canon, which has nearly half of the market share in digital camera sales volume, followed by Sony and then by Nikon, are Japanese corporations that have taken camera technology to massive levels. And by the way, it was Sony that brought us the digital camera. Cameras come in all forms, from DSLRs to bridge cameras to compact/point and shoot cameras, which we'll talk about later, to camera phones, which we'll talk about right now. Innovation is what happens when technologies combine. For instance, you have a battery and you have an automobile. Well, let's put the battery in the car and power the car through the battery. Tesla. All through history, this is what has been done, and the camera phone isn't any different. Nokia brought the world the first cell phone, and Sony brought the world the first digital camera. Now, myself, knowing my fellow humans, know that we constantly tinker up ideas to take over the world, and so we are always thinking of the next big thing. A Japanese company by the name of Kyocera did just that when they made the first commercial camera phone. The Visualphone VP210 had a 110,000 pixel front-facing camera. It stored up to 20 JPEG digital images, which could then be sent over email, or the phone could send up to 2 images per second over Japan's personal handy phone system cellular network. South Korean Samsung was a close second in the race of bringing the camera phone to the market, as they brought the Samsung SCH V200. These phones worked, but it was the Sharp company of Japan that brought to the masses the JSH04. The phone was so popular that half of the country's cell phone users began using camera phones in the next 2 years. It was only released in Japan, but the world soon caught on. By 2005, Nokia was the world's leading digital camera brand. Not Canon, not Nikon, but a cell phone manufacturer was the global giant. Of course, as technology always does, it evolves, and this is what the camera technology in the phones did. It improved through lens quality, resulting in better image quality. The quality of phones improved greatly, allowing for better processing and more storage, which was needed for the better picture quality. Features that were typically found in traditional cameras made their way into these phones, and suddenly everybody with a capable device was now able to capture moments conveniently by just taking out their phones. People always carry their phones, but did we always carry a camera? Well, of course not. When one carried a camera, it now became a duty to be a photographer instead of a participant. But now our phones allow us to both capture the moment and participate in it. Selfie! Traditional handheld cameras will always be superior aside from the compact point-and-shoot cameras. Remember those good old disposable cameras? When was the last time you laid your hands on one of them? Actually, I'm sure there are some people watching this video right now that don't even know what they are. It used to be that instead of carrying a massive SLR camera around with the myriad of large heavy lenses, one would either get a disposable camera or bring along their tiny point-and-shoot camera. So these point-and-shoot cameras had great features and excellent quality, but that didn't quite matter when all you were doing is posting a random picture on social media. As long as the picture was in focus, that's all that people care about. Add to this the fact that the camera technology in phones was now pretty much on par with these compact cameras. How practical would it be to carry around a camera that has the same or similar features to your smartphone? Two highly recommended point-and-shoot cameras for the creator community are the Sony ZV-1 and the Canon PowerShot G7 Mark III. These workhorses have all the necessary features for the creative user, and in the video description below are links to these fabulous devices. Some of these compact cameras have now found their place among content creators for their minimalistic capabilities. In closing, Japan seemed to know where the camera technology was going, and so they brought the world a product that humanity has been served well by. And as life progresses, typically so do the tools, and I believe that we will see compact / point-and-shoot cameras slowly make their way into the box of Technono. Let us know your thoughts about compact cameras in the comments below and if they will continue to survive. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to be notified of nostalgia within the tech industry.